Welcome to another exclusive PI Talk one-on-one interview. My name is Jimmy Messas, a private investigator with 30 plus years experience, and editor-in-chief of PI Magazine. I'd like to introduce you to a local private investigator that's going to answer some of the most common questions asked. Let's get right to our first question. What should consumers be looking for when hiring a private investigator? A license, experience, something that's going to make the customer feel comfortable of your ability?
Well, first and foremost, I would advise the consumer to make sure that the investigator is licensed in the state in which the investigation is going to take place. It's very simple. All they have to do is contact the licensing authority for that state, provide the name, and they'll tell them right in the telephone call whether that investigator's licensed or not. Next, I would make sure that the investigator is experienced in the area in which their investigation is going to be taking place. Not all investigators are experienced in all areas, so I would definitely make sure that that investigator has that experience in that particular area. I would also ask for references. If the investigator has a website, they can actually just go to the website and make sure that the area of investigation they're going to require the investigator for is listed on the website. And I would also ask for references. Have the investigator give you 3 or 4 or 5 references that you could check out. And then that would make you satisfied that you've hired the right investigator.
Most people are probably concerned about the cost of hiring a private investigator. Do you charge by the hour, by the case? Is a retainer required?
Well, actually, every case is different, but a retainer is usually required, such as in law firms. They don't take a case without getting a retainer. Investigators take a retainer. Usually, the case is concluded before the retainer is used up, but there are sometimes when the case may exceed the retainer. At that point, the client is told about it, and the client makes the decision whether or not he wants us to proceed with the case. And if so, then they'll just be required to pay an additional retainer.
We know there are a lot of investigative agencies out there, but why should consumers choose you? What makes you different?
One of the reasons I think our agency is successful is because we have more than 40 years of experience combined amongst the investigators. And we have also found that when people are hiring investigators, they ask other people, if you've hired an investigator, what do you look for in an investigator? Who did you use? And oftentimes we'll get referrals from people who have hired us and were happy with our services. And I think one of the reasons they're happy with our service is not only because we give them a good result, but because when we work a case, we work it from the heart. We try to treat people as people and not just that it's an investigation. And you'd be surprised, people really appreciate it when you're treating them in that respect.
I know consumers want to feel comfortable with whoever they hire, perhaps somebody that's trusted and respected by their peers. Do you belong to any business or trade associations?
Yes, we do. In fact, one of the associations is the State Association for Investigators, the New Jersey Licensed Private Investigators Association. And since we're also licensed in New York, we're a member of the Associated Licensed Detectives of New York State. Those are the state associations. Then we have national associations, such as USAPI, the United States Association of Professional Investigators, and the National Council of Investigative and Security Services, NCISS. By the way, we also belong to international associations such as WAD, the World Association of Detectives. And I might add that we are also the recipients of several awards from several of these associations, both in the United States and international.
Considering that you charge by the hour, how can consumers be assured that you're actually billing them for the exact number of hours you're working on their case?
Well, we actually keep time records in the same manner that attorneys keep time records. And when we prepare our reports, the client will receive a detailed report which shows the hours spent. So they'll know that the hours that they paid for were actually hours that we did spend performing the investigation.
I hope the answers to these questions will help you in hiring a private investigator. In the meantime, my name is Jimmy Mesis, and thank you for participating in today's interview of PI Talk One-on-One.